Before we describe what quantitative easing is, there are two things that I want to quickly go through with you guys. The first is to understand what a bond is. A bond is simply this. So imagine I'm the UK government. One of the ways in which I can borrow money so that I can invest into all sorts of things is by issuing a government bond. Well, let's say I'm the UK government and you are an investor. You buy my bond. In return, you get this thing which is called a bond, which in essence is just like an IOU. You get a piece of paper that says, hey, you lent us £100 and we're going to pay you that back plus interest. Now, with that in mind, it's important to understand that there are long-term and short-term bonds. A short-term bond is usually around 3 months, and a long-term bond can be something that's 30 years. Now, one of the most important relationships you need to understand when it comes to bonds is that there is an inverse relationship between the price of a bond and the interest or yield that that bond pays out. Let's think about why. So if you think about the UK economy, if you were to lend money to the UK government, would you expect to get your money back? Well, probably. The UK has never ever defaulted on its debt. In other words, they have always paid their debts back. Therefore, would you expect demand for UK government bonds to be high or low? Well, you'd expect it to be pretty high because you know that if you put your money there, you're going to get it back. As a result, do they need to incentivize you with a high interest rate, or can they just get away with giving a low interest rate? They don't need to incentivize you with a high interest rate. The interest rate will be very low. Now, a great example to remember this by actually happened pretty recently with Germany. In the EU, loads of countries at the moment are struggling. And think about what you could do with your money. Well, one of the things I could do with my money is I could leave it underneath my bed, but that's risky because I can get robbed. I could leave it in a bank, but banks can collapse, Lehman Brothers being an example of that. So one of the safest things that I can do with my money is invest it into what we call safe havens. A safe haven is a country that has a reputation for always paying you back. Germany is a pretty good example of that. So Germany issued a bond auction in the middle of the financial crisis and in the middle of a crisis in the EU. Guess what happened? Demand for the German bonds was so high that the interest they were paying out on the bonds became negative. In other words, people were willing to give Germany, let's say £100 and get £99 back because they know at least they're going to get that back. That is a great way of thinking about how you have an inverse relationship. In contrast, Greece. Now, Greece has completely lost access to the markets, but let's say that Greece came up to you in the middle of, their crisis and they've got high levels of debt and they're like, hey, would you like to get one of our government bonds? You'd be a bit wary. You'd be like, I'm good, thank you. Therefore, the demand for Greek bonds are likely to be pretty low. How do they incentivize you to buy their bonds then? Well, the interest rate is be high. So in other words, the price low, interest rate high, and vice versa. Bear that in mind. Now, if you're a commercial bank, let's say your HSBC, your Barclays, your NatWest, any of these banks, when money comes into your accounts, you do all sorts of things with it. You try and grow that money. You try to make more money on that. One of the things that you invariably will always buy is government bonds. It's inevitable that you'll do that. So this is what the Bank of England did. In 2009, in the middle of the financial crash, they initially cut interest rates from 5% all the way down to 0.5% in the hope that the banks would begin to lend to stimulate growth in the economy. However, many of the commercial banks had taken such a significant hit that they were unwilling to do that. So then they adopted something that they had never tried before, quantitative easing. Quantitative easing is where the central bank, the Bank of England, buys up massive amounts of UK government bonds and other illiquid assets off the commercial banks. Now, let's discuss this concept of illiquid assets. An illiquid asset is something that can't be converted into money very quickly. A great example of that is your house. Let's say you put your house up for sale. You're not going to get someone walking by your house just going, hey, do you want £1 million for it? Here you go. It's not Monopoly. Therefore, it's going to take a long time for you to be able to sell that asset and turn it into money. Now, bonds typically are pretty illiquid because on average, the maturity date is about 10 years. It takes about 10 years before you get back what you invested plus the interest. So what the central bank says to the commercial banks is, okay, look, you know these illiquid assets that you have? We'll take them off you. And how they did that was by giving them electronic money. So if I'm Barclays, I get rid of my assets, my illiquid assets, my bonds, and the central bank takes that off me, and in return, I get money. I get actual money, which now I am more likely to lend. So in other words, What the central bank did is they bought up large quantities of illiquid assets using electronic money, and as a result, there is more liquidity in the financial system, and that encourages banks to lend. Simple as that.